Okay, part 5. I'm on the back side of Nordstrom's here. People are passing by, so not to be in the way. So I'm trying to get that mix between the Marriott and Nordstrom's, where the old and the new is blending together. Anyhow, to try to sum it up, that now why it was in God's plan that I could not visit before because of the PTSD associated with all that had happened with Frank and all that had happened when I was going here. And also so that I was blocked, except for one time in '99, that I was prevented from coming here to visit. And also because the fear that my mom had put in me that my car would be stolen. So basically it was almost like it wasn't, I'm not going to go into whether it was God's will or not. It just wasn't meant to be until a year ago. Why God chose to do it that way, I have no idea. But maybe God waited until I was ready to deal with stuff that I couldn't deal with before. Because especially in the situation where so many things had been buried, whether it's with Frank and the PTSD and all of the situations that was going on, it was almost like it was God's way of saying, no, not yet. But now over the past year, but this is actually the best timing. Because now, and I have to remind myself, sometimes if I have to remind myself 10 times a day and to continue to hand it over to God, that I did not have a free will. It was a con game, it was a manipulative game that I didn't know how to deal with, that I didn't know how to get out of. And that was true. And a lot of sorcery and witchcraft where that lady Cindy had tied us together, that was another story in another time. So back then, I did not have the free will, and that's true. Back in '91, it is what it is. We can't change that. But I have to remind myself that now I have the free will. I better have the free will with all of the visitations that I made here. Thank you, Jesus, I'm able to laugh about something that used to hurt me. And we'll talk about the power of laughter too. So now, with all of this, now I do have a choice where I can say, yes, it is what it is. It's in the book. It can't be changed. But I do have a choice where now I can focus on handing Frank over to God. And also I have to work on letting go of the resentment toward Frank, because I was equally as guilty that I was there. But I didn't know, and also when it was another meeting before, when Harry said no more filming, a year earlier, it was like God's way of saying for us to part amicably, for there to be no trauma and drama, but I didn't know it. So I wasn't, it was my fault. I was not supposed to have been there. I was at the wrong place and at the wrong time.